Good morning. Happy Sunday. What's going on? Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode. I've got to look. Where are we at? 1324. Coming off the Rockford Card Show. Good show day. And actually, it was a terrible eBay sales day. Like, not even terrible. Like, outlier-ish terrible. And I'm looking at my numbers right now. I'm like, was my eBay store even open for people to view? But my impressions, there were eyeballs on my store, but the sales weren't there, which is intriguing. So we'll see how the next couple days go. eBay is kind of a weird, like, it was truly an outlier-ish day. And I say that it's like, I preach, and I hate using that word, but I preach list good things at good prices and sales will come. But sales, sometimes there are days where your sales will absolutely suck. And then there are days where your sales are just absolutely awesome. And you always have to ask yourself, why are my sales really shitty lately? Why are my sales really good lately? We often don't ask ourselves when they're really good. We just expect our eBay sales to always be good. Like, well, this isn't an outlier. This is just how it should be. Nay. There's outliers on both ends of the spectrum. Now, my sales have been way up in recent days. Why is that? Well, auctions have led to it. Now, why were my sales down? Like, I'm looking at my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 consecutive days where my sales were really good, and triple, and in many cases, way more than triple what I did yesterday on eBay. It was absolutely atrocious. And I'm like, God, why? My views, people were seeing my listings, so it's not like my views and impressions were down, but the sales absolutely were in the tank. So how do you combat that? Well, list good shit at good prices and you can turn the tide. So I did just that. I picked up very few items yesterday. We're going to talk about the Rockford Card Show. Picked up very few items. There's my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Let's right the ship. Maybe because there was no Hobby Evolution. So nobody was yesterday morning like, oh, where am I going to shop on eBay today? So let's turn the tide. 99centcards.com. I didn't say that 314 times yesterday morning on Hobby Evolution. So I'm trying to turn the tide. I did, for the first time, I listed Saturday night auctions. And I'm in the mindset now where I've got a surplus of inventory and I'm always looking to buy more. And I've kind of taken the thought process, as long as I know what I have into a card and it's what I'm willing to risk it at auction in certain circumstances. Now, 86 Fleer basketball paid $4, $5 a card. I'm not willing to take that risk and list those at auction. Not yet. Maybe 6 months down the road, if they're still, I did sell one, I think, for $7 yesterday. If they're still sitting in my store in 6 months, then I may throw those on auction. It's like, well, they're not selling now. Might as well just throw them at auction. But they've been in my store for just a few days, so they're going to stay in the buy it now section. So I did list, I think, about 75 auctions last night. I came home from the card show and I just, with what I had purchased yesterday, and I'll get into the show and what I bought, what I sold, listed some auctions, 99centcards.com. I want to get over 100 auction listings going live tonight. So that's my goal, is to use Card Dealer Pro and get a whole bunch of listings in at auction tonight. Auctions were lacking. This week, I think I had a decent amount of auctions. This coming week is going to be low on auctions because I was, playing catch up from my trip last weekend. So I think I only have auctions ending Tuesday night and maybe Thursday night. and of course Saturday night, which I listed last night. Cooter's here. He says, saw you listed cards from our trip. I did. I've got some auction listings from my trip last weekend. Buy it now. I listed the 86 Fleer basketball. I listed some of the vintage baseball. The 71, because they're in really nice condition. The 71 Topps baseball have been moving. I've sold a few already at $3 to $4 a card. So and got those for 50 cents. And that's kind of where what I was looking at yesterday. It's like I want auction items. I want auction items. And but when running 99-cent auctions, I kind of have a feeling now that I've been doing auctions on eBay consistently for a couple months now. I kind of know where, I'm really risking it, especially Bowman prospects going into the winter months. I'm really risking, well, this is going to sell for 99 cents. So I've got to be careful with not only what I buy, but how much I pay. And 50 cents seems to be that, okay, if I can get decent liquid stuff at 50 cents a card, maybe it sells for more. Obviously I want to sell it for more than $1 because if it sells for 99 cents, even with the 99-cent shipping, I'm going to make a little bit of profit. Obviously I want people to buy many of them. And then, that profit goes up a little bit more. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I talked about this coming off of the Dallas Card Show, where I'm seeing so many, like, I'll call them value boxes, where it's not necessarily quarter box, dollar box, but we're talking $5 and $10 and $20 cards, where it's just, hopefully there's a price tag on there, and it's all over the place. And what I'm seeing with those is those are comped. Like in many cases, those are pretty up on comps. And I saw it in Dallas. I saw it yesterday. I've seen it in Madison the last couple shows. It's like, I'm not really getting much. There's not much meat left on the bone in some of those. You've got to find like, oh, they haven't updated the price where this has gone up, or whatever the case may be. So I think I'm kind of sticking in the dollar boxes. That's my wheelhouse, and I know exactly what I'm looking for the most part out of these dollar boxes. So my strategy from the buying standpoint is sticking to the dollar boxes. And it doesn't mean I'm not looking at the $5 and $10 and $20 boxes. But I'm not going to spend half an hour looking through those cards and coming up empty and just wasting a bunch of time. So my strategy is sticking to the dollar boxes, and then buying in bulk. And I'm going to talk about a potential deal that's coming my way that somebody I've actually dealt with previously on a bulk buy. And I'm going to tell you the strategy. We didn't come to an agreement yesterday, but he's got more stuff, and it's kind of like that bulk bundle it up, baby. And we might be able, the bundle, he sent me some, he sent me some photos, and it's really good stuff that I know it's liquid. And we talked about, like, he's like, so what's your mindset on, on the stuff? And I said, well, here's the thing. Like, he had a box of some really good stuff. Like, there was a card for like $150, but then there's Mac Jones rookies. And for me to just kind of eyeball it, and it's a lot of football, basketball that I just don't know the market on. And, I don't want to put that kind of money down without doing my due diligence in checking. And, but I know on certain players, it's like, okay, if I can be at 50 cents a card, we'll just go back to that. And there's LeBron James. I've got a buyer for LeBron James at 75 cents a card. So yeah, if I can find a whole bunch of LeBron James in a 50-cent box, boom, 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 boom. Derek Jeter, I've got a buyer at 50 cents a card. If I find him in a quarter box, boom, 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 boom. So in the photos that this particular customer and person I bought from before, he had Ohtani's and LeBron's and Mahomes, and that stuff I know I can move, and I know at what price point I can move. And just dealing with eBay sales, I know what I can get for it on eBay, and it moves fairly quickly on some of the other players. But then it's like Jalen Rieger, not going to be able to move those. So, it's like I'm paying for these, but these are just kind of like throw it. So I can talk more about, I'll tell you more of the strategy that I deployed on this particular, it was a two or three row box full of cards that I did not come to a deal, but he did walk out of the show with the cards and message me later with some of the other stuff he has at home that we may come to a deal in the near future. Oh, hey, I'm burying the lead, and it's not the Rockford Card Show. I'm burying the lead. Ooh, that's good mushroom coffee. I made a purchase on Friday. I got a storage unit. Oh, I'm so happy. So I haven't talked. So Friday was a big day. I had a lot going on Friday. Friday was a really busy day. So Friday morning after the show, I had coffee with somebody who got mail from me, got a card, a Charles Mann football card. So if you ordered a Charles Mann football card, it's going to be going back in the mail. It was misdelivered to somebody here in town. And he reached out. He saw it because it says 1 Million Cubs LLC on the return. And so he looked me up. Also a Cubs fan, has ties to the Peoria, Illinois area, and works with entrepreneurs, and he does a lot of economic development and also works with entrepreneurs. And so he's like, hey, I find your story fascinating. I can give you this back. We can meet, but if you want to have coffee, we can, I want to hear your story. So we met up at Barrique's, a coffee shop in downtown Middleton. We there for hour and a half, probably just talking baseball, talking Wisconsin Badger stuff. Fascinating. He was asking, it was so strange, the timing of it all, because I just recently, within the last week, have decided to make those steps to grow my business and take the next step, which storage unit, hiring a part-time employee. And the funny thing is, he's like, so what's the next step in your business? I'm like, well, funny you ask. So great conversation, and we'll probably do it again. So that was Friday morning, and that kind of gave me the motivation to go out and actually do some work on the storage on a storage unit and finding one. So I was pricing some out on Thursday. And I want more information, right? So I priced some out that were over in Middleton, not far from me, but then and you can see a storage unit facility right off the belt line, right across the street from Menards and Target and some of that area. Easy access. And that's kind of what I was looking for, because I want to have like basically a garage sale, and I want to meet, I'm going to sell this bulk. I want to meet somebody at the storage unit, not my house or not the Target parking lot, but hey, here's my storage unit, and they may want to buy more. Who knows? So those were so access, price obviously is a consideration, and most importantly was, will this facility allow a garage sale? Can I have a sale out of my storage unit? So I decided I'd got my everything that needed to go out Friday went out. So I'm like, we need some groceries. My wife's been super busy with showings. So I'm like, I'll get some groceries. And I'm going to go check out that storage facility. So I went in and I drove in, and I just wanted to check out the lay of the land, look at the size of the units, super easy access. Being across the street from Menards comes in super handy, because I'm going to have to go buy a bunch of shelving units to put them in the unit. So I went into I pulled out, went into the office, and we're out cleaning units. We'll be back. I'm like, So I sat in my car for a little bit, and I was just about to pull out, and I'm like, I'll just come back Monday. But the office manager was coming up on a golf cart, and so I turned my car off and went over, so talked, and so I'm just like, I'm interested in a storage unit. I want prices, sizing, and my biggest question is, can I run sales out of the storage unit? And she's like, well, what type of sales? And I'm like, basically just like a garage sale. And it's not going to be like an every week thing. Obviously there probably won't be one until springtime, until it gets warm. But basically a garage sale, like every once in a while. And she's like, yeah, I don't have any problems with that. She's like, as long as there's not like a whole bunch of traffic. And I'm like, I wouldn't expect there to be a whole bunch of traffic. It's a few people maybe. So that was, and then I got pricing and I'm like, what's the largest unit you have? It's like 10 by 25. I'm like, perfect. It's like $124 a month. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Sign the contract. Bada bing, bada boom. So I haven't started filling it yet. So I do want to be, thanks to Cooter for the advice on this. As we were talking about this last weekend, he says, be organized when you go in. I think some people mentioned that in the chat also. Make sure to be organized before you start. In what tends to happen with the way my brain works, it's like, I want to get everything out of here and get everything in there. And then all of a sudden it's like, shit, it's just a mess and I don't know where shit is. So first things first, I'm going to go buy a bunch of the cheap plastic shelving units. I don't need heavy duty. These are all going to be, it's going to be common cards. My card show inventory is not going to go in there. Obviously my collection's not going to go in there. Unknown inventory, I'm not going to take unsearched Goodwill stuff in there. It's going to be all commons. And then I may, like, some of my retired quarter boxes may go in there. It's like, I've taken these to shows. I get the same customers at shows. Maybe if I open up a garage sale in the spring, it'll be new stuff. So that's kind of the mindset I have going in. But for now, it's just going to be commons with the as we go into the winter months, just a bulk. And I've got so much that I also want to open my space up here in the basement so I can buy more. Just what I need, right? But I have so much bulk that's not online or card show inventory. It's just like, here's 100,000 cards, $500. Now that it's in a storage unit, maybe even take a best offer. So, depending on how much work I get done today, I got to look at the forecast too, because if it's going to be like a shitty cold day, I want to get it. Hey, I got my offer accepted on an Adon Sanchez that I think I needed. What's the weather going to be like? So it's going to be rainy today in the 50s. It's going to be 50 and sunny tomorrow. Okay, it's going to be in the 50s all week. So I think I'm good. So even if I don't get to it tomorrow, the rest of the week looks okay. As long as I can beat the super cold and snow, get that shit in there. So Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to load it up, and at least with shelving units to start. And then I have a shelf in my shipping room that's already sorted with just bulk that I'm going to bulk out. And then I'm going to bring some of my card show tables and store those in there. And then that way, when I do run sales, I'll be able to put, tables out of bargain boxes. Also, I can use the tables to take pictures of the bulk. I hate looking at Facebook Marketplace and seeing a bunch of boxes. It's like 200,000 cards and there's 12 pictures of just different angles of all of the boxes. Like, okay, it's a lot of cards, but you want $2,000 for 100,000 cards, 200,000 cards. Like, if it's 88 Fleer Commons, I don't want this. Like, just give me some inkling of what's inside. So storage unit will enable me to be more efficient with my storage space in my current location, in my location in my basement, but also enable me to have a little room to work with sorting here with like my inventory, so I don't have 1 million or 2 million commons in the way, and it'll allow me to get those bulk lots sold quicker. Now, selling them is actually the hardest part, but equally as hard as getting them all together in one space so I can at least put them up for sale. So that's where we're at on the storage unit. Storage unit contract is signed, and I'll start loading that puppy up this week. Let's go to the chat, and we're going to talk about the Rockford Card Show. It was a booming day in Rockford yesterday. I was, and it actually did end up exceeding my expectations, but by lunchtime, it's like this is not the show that I was expecting. And it's like, man, I did better at Janesville last month when everybody else said they had a terrible day, and I did okay. But it ended up turned around. I had some decent sales towards the end of the show, which usually my show, and I guess even like in the early days of the Rockford show, it was always like a late start for me, for my tables, which is weird for bargain box tables because typically the customer base comes in super early, and by 10, 11 o'clock, it's like dead. And then I go just look at bargain boxes myself. But my tables were really busy in the morning. And then there was like around 11, 12 o'clock, it kind of died down. But then all of a sudden I got another small rush where my tables weren't full, but I made some bigger sales. So we'll talk about my sales. We'll talk about my buys or lack thereof at yesterday's Rockford Card Show. Speaking of card shows, before we get to the chat, next show for me will be down in Chicago. I did take a Cubs box to Rockford yesterday, and man, it got raided. My Cubs box was raided. I can't believe how well Cubs cards sell. And I guess I should know that, but I've never, I shouldn't say never, but I've rarely sold Cubs cards. But man, Ryan Sandberg in my eBay store flying off the shelf. My quarter box of Cubs cards yesterday was a hot box. So I'm gonna bring at least one more Cubs quarter box to the Chicago Sports Spectacular. I'll be set up Sunday only, which is November 24th, I think, at the Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont. So I will be there Saturday walking the floor as a buyer. And then Sunday, I will be set up in a booth. And I'll have to get my table number. I'll text Wally and find out. So that's the Chicago Sports Spectacular. I'm going to also try to put together a $1 box of Cubs. Some of the refractors and, that type of stuff that I have duplicates of. So come see me in Chicago Sports. My mic got muted. My screen went black for a moment and my mic was muted. That was weird. So again, come see me Sunday, November 24th, Chicago Sports Spectacular, Donald Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. And then the next Madison Card Show, Saturday, November 30th. Saturday, November 30th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. I am still on the fence whether or not I am setting up, and that actually may be a week of decision. So I'm basically on the wait list myself as a dealer, kinda, but I can jump ahead in the line. I do have one of my childhood friends, Brandon, coming up from Anawan. He's going to set up as a dealer. My cousin Chance is coming over from Maquoketa, Iowa. He's going to just walk the floor and check it out. He got back into collecting recently. He's a big Bears collector. So I'm looking forward to that. That's Thanksgiving weekend. I'm still kind of up in the air if I'm going to set up or not. It just kind of depends on what I sell in Chicago the week prior and if I just want to deal with hauling all my shit. So we'll see. We'll see. So it's going to be a game time decision if I set up tables at the Madison Card Show, November 30th. Royals 417, what's happening? Good morning. Sunday morning. Donald Davis in the house. Todd, what's up? Good morning. SoCal guys here. Happy Sunday to you. It's a Bears Sunday. I got to put my Bears hoodie on. Bears and Patriots today, hopefully. Now, if the Bears lose today, if the Bears lose against the Patriots today, I think Brian's going to be closer to accurate with his 5-win projection. If the Bears win today, I still think they're going to win less than 10 games, which is just, I was going to stick with my prediction, but after last week, it's like, shit, I just don't think it's going to happen. So that was my bold. Actually, it wasn't. I would not have even considered 10 wins to be bold coming into this year. But after watching a few games, 8 games, 10 was bold. In hindsight, 10 wins was bold. I didn't think it was bold at the time. Kyle's here. What's up? Good morning. Chris Johnson, it's a Sunday fun day. Hell yeah. Philly Joe, good morning. Mr. Archer is here. Good morning. Merle's in the house. Sunday fun day. I've added over 300 cards to my collect store and some to eBay. Yes, I've kind of neglected collects lately, just in trying to catch up with all my eBay from the week. Being gone 3 days really sets me back. I haven't added anything to collects lately, and I've got some orders that are I don't really have a handling time on collects, I don't think. If I did, they'd probably be past due. So if you have put orders in over the last week, yeah, I'm behind on my collects. I will get those out. In fact, I'm gonna get to those first thing this morning, getting all my collects orders shipped out. And I don't have many, but I do wish, and I saw your other comment here. We need more buyers on collects. Yeah, it's I've still done well. And it's been a couple months, but the last couple weeks I have not. Just so many things going on. This is why, and now I realize when sales are slower and you're caught up, it's like, yeah, I want a second platform to sell from. But when you're just absolutely selling the shit out of eBay and busy, it's like, I don't have time for a second platform. And that's kind of where I'm at, unfortunately, right now. So I have sold, where are we at? I've only done a few $100s in sales. I've sold 439 cards on 44 transactions. So I do need to, but eBay, I'm kind of turning the focus on eBay, and I've kind of just left collects. It's nice supplemental money coming in, and I'm not finding cards I want to buy. And I just don't think I've looked hard enough. I'm not searching it well enough. I have bought a few cards. I think I've bought 2 cards on collects, both for my personal collection. But ideally, I'd like to use the income from my collect sales to then go and buy cards. So, but I just haven't put much time. I actually haven't bought many cards on eBay. I just this morning I was laying in bed. It was a nice Sunday fun day, laying in bed, scrolling eBay. I was looking up Adon Sanchez. I hadn't done a search for him in a while and found one, and my offer was accepted. I did order, and I got a mail day. So actually, a couple cards for the PC I picked up yesterday. One via mail, one from the Rockford Card Show. So this I will submit at the Madison Card Show with 5-star. Oh, speaking of that, I also got the Trout back. So this I got on eBay. I got a pretty good deal on this. Johnny Kling, T206. It's got some ink on the front, but it's got a clean back. It's a clean card. So I got a good deal on that. I'm going to submit that to SGC. And then yesterday at the Rockford Card Show, I picked up Moises Ballesteros, and he's really come up in the Cubs system. He was in the Arizona Fall League Home Run Derby on Friday night. This is a wild, and I know some people are like, oh, wild card. I love all cards. I don't care if they're unlicensed. I don't care about sticker autos. I think this is actually on-card auto. But it's numbered out of 2. Now, it's wild card is similar to Leaf, where they have just all kinds of random numbers. So in that vein, I'm not a big fan. It's not very the image kind of sucks. I think they could have found a better photo, but it's a $20 auto. So I did pay $20. Moises Ballesteros. So that was basically my only PC pickup. Oh, I did pick up Dylan Cease new Allen and Ginter Mini because I did not pull a Ginter Mini of Cease in my case. So I picked one of those up for like a quarter. Where are we at? Uncle Rich is here. Good morning. Cooter says, saw you listed cards from our trip. Absolutely. Trying to get stuff loaded into eBay. Merle says it's handy to list cards that should be in a quarter or dollar box and put them on collects. That way you don't have to sell them for more on eBay just to make a quarter. And that's the biggest thing on collects. If you use Card Dealer Pro, it's even easier to list on collects because you don't worry about the 80 character limit on your title because collects automatically puts everything that is necessary in the title. And you're not dealing with search algorithms and millions of other sellers on collects as you are on eBay. So you have to get those titles kind of SEO, modified for SEO. And then you don't have to download a spreadsheet and then go to eBay and upload it. It's just it's one click, it sends to collects. So from a user standpoint, it is so awesome and so much easier and faster than listing to eBay. But we just need to get more buyers, more users. Which I think that's just we need that everywhere. We always need more buyers. We always need more buyers, even on eBay. Andy Mack, good morning. What's up? Low Roller talking about Bitcoin. It hit 80,000 today. And let's give credit where credit is due. Low Roller Scratcher told us earlier this year that Bitcoin was going to hit $100,000, and it's getting closer and closer. He did tell us to buy Bitcoin at 16,000 right here in this very Hobby Evolution chat. Maybe we should listen to him or not, but maybe bundle Ruski. Can we bundle Bitcoin? Orlando, what's going on? I know Orlando was on Hobby Hotline yesterday. I've got to go back and watch the replay. John says hello only to Orlando. I'll say good morning, John. Florida baseball card dude, good morning. Also not a fan of the comped value boxes. Always a waste of time. It just annoys the shit out of me. But hey, I get it. Like, I'm a seller too. I get it. John says, thanks for bringing up Rieger. Eagles drafted him one slot ahead of Justin Jefferson. Hey, that was a wise move. I'm a Bears fan, so let's not talk about the draft. When did the wife tell you to get a storage unit? She suggested a storage unit several years ago. I don't know if I shared the story, but I may have on Hobby Evolution last week. But I don't know. It was one day last week. It was like Wednesday or Thursday. I told my wife, I said, "Hey, I'm looking to buy something that you'll be very happy with." And she goes, jokingly says, "A storage unit?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Really?" I'm like, "That's the happiest I've seen you in a while." So that was better than like getting her flowers on a random day of the week just because. Honey, I'm getting a storage unit. And there are storage units that allow sales inside their premises. That sounds the opposite of secure storage. What's not secure about that? What's not secure? Merle says the Vikings appreciated that Jalen Rieger draft for Philadelphia. Low Roller says your sports card supply will get expensive next year due to the Trump tariffs. Business is booming for Bo after finally doing auctions. Isn't that something? I shit on auctions all this time, and here we are running auctions every single day. And business is booming, except for yesterday. Business sucked yesterday. Merle says he has to get ready for his whatnot inventory. Hey, I've said many times, I will likely sell on whatnot eventually. It's not going to be in the near future, but at some point in the future, I will likely be selling on whatnot. John says this will be a bigger leap for you in growing your business. You need to remember that sometimes you have to take a step backwards to move forward. It's a great point because this is going to allow me, after thinking about this I did a lot of thinking on the airplane about what a storage unit can do for me. And I don't want it just to be an excuse to stuff cards, and hoard cards and push, play, walk away. Because that's the sales side. You know, I want to run a garage sale, basically garage sales, you know, in the warmer months. I want to give myself more space to bring in cards to my office space here. And then once I go through, it's like, okay, this is junk, this is commons, this is going to be bulked out, then take it to the storage unit. It gives me more space to, okay, this is all junk. I can take better photos. I have the extra space to do that. And I have a meeting place. So there's a lot of different things that was going through how I run my business and what a storage unit could do for me. Because in the past, I've always seen it as, well, I've got enough space. I don't want to pay for a storage unit. When in reality, it's actually going to enable me to grow, scale up, and move inventory. I mean, as strange as that sounds, how is a storage unit going to move inventory? You know, it's going to give me the ability to move inventory faster, the dead stuff, the crap. It just takes buyers. You know, I have the ability now because I haven't even listed. I haven't sold anything because I haven't listed anything in terms of bulk. And I haven't been able to get, because I don't have space, one spot for 200,000 cards because I've got to kind of fill in areas here and there. And it's really holding me back. So there's a lot of reasons that went into it, and I made the move. Let's see. Low Roller says something about dogs. The dog cards are in my store. Actually, here they are. I got dog cards from Allen and Ginter. Check them out, 99centcards.com. Merle says, if you get enough of your card dealers, you can start having card shows at this. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There will not be card shows at the unit, but I'll do some sales myself. Where are we at? John says your plastic shelves will be more susceptible to temperature variances. I would suggest you don't go that route. Think long term. I am going that route, and I have thought long term. This is junk. If they're susceptible to temperature variances and fall over, I don't care. I'm not storing my dollar cards there. I'm not even storing my quarter cards there. I'm storing junk. Basically, when I do my sales, I'll take my inventory over, like my quarter box inventory, dollar box inventory. If I do a sale, it's kind of going to be one of those types of deals. I'm not going to spend $150 on a heavy duty storage unit that I can't even put together myself, because then I'll have to pay somebody to put them together. Unless Cooter comes up, unless Cooter flies in, he can help me put the heavy duty ones together. But I just don't want to. I'd rather spend $40 or $50 and take my chances. I use those cheap plastic shelves in my old storage room, in my old card room at the old house for several years. Didn't have any issues. Obviously, it's temperature controlled in my basement, but we'll see. I'm going to take the chance. I understand there's going to be temperature variances leading to crappy. It could fall. Lots of things could happen. But I'm going to take those chances with what I'm storing in there. Merle says he has upgraded his shelves. Oops, never mind. Yeah, I have good shelving units here, but the storage unit's going to be cheap. We're going the cheap route at the storage unit. Andy Mack says, read that contract carefully and see when they are allowed to start raising your rent. Ooh, that's a good point. My storage unit really jacked up the rent, so not worth it. I'm curious what others, because I was talking to somebody at the card show yesterday, and they said their storage units where they live is like $30 or $40. I'm like, geez, I'm paying $125. I'm curious what your storage, but I did look in the storage unit that I'm renting from is actually cheaper than the other one that's in kind of a more difficult area, which I get. If you're storing valuable stuff, like, do you really want it visible from a main thoroughfare right next to retail and everything? But if somebody breaks in and steals 500,000 junk wax commons, It's like, well, there you go. I don't have to pay rent anymore because I'm done with my storage unit rent. I don't really care. I should start selling at a flea market. Michael Renicke's in the house. Good morning. Michael was down at the Rockford Card Show yesterday. John says, I'm trying to understand the economics of having a storage unit for pick-through bulk commons. I just explained it. Although this comment was made 20 minutes ago, so I may not have explained it yet. I bought out storage units before, but it wasn't just commons. Cooter says, use the unit to also thin your basement to give you room to organize your cubs. That's one of the reasons. One of a few reasons. Max says, you've done a good job of moving excess inventory in the past. The unit gives you a little more leeway, but I wouldn't let up on trying to move excess quick. Use it more as an organization tool. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to sit on bulk. Like, this allows me to move it quicker. Like, if I can move stuff quicker, and I may be open to more deals. In more like, okay, well, I'm not moving, I'm going to have to move it once into the storage unit from my basement. But now if I list something on Facebook Marketplace, it's like, I'm not going to haul these, like the binders. Like, somebody offered me, I think the best offer on like 5 binders was $30. And it's like, I just don't want to haul. And I know I could take them in one swing upstairs to my car, but do I want to drive somewhere and meet somebody for $30? No, I don't. I don't want to waste that time, but I'll take them to the storage unit and maybe it leads to more sales, or they're already in there. Binders are something that I probably won't take depending on what I have. Actually, some binders I will, just because they'll be in the bulk. But yeah, so that's the leeway is important. It's the flexibility. It's kind of like why I do 3-day handling. It gives me flexibility. People that are not thinking the way I'm thinking. He's like, well, why do 3-day handling? You can get your fees discounted if you do 1-day handling. It's like, but if I'm gone for 3 days and I can't put my store on hiatus once a week, twice a week, because that'll kill the algorithm from my business. And just to get, it's like, well, you could save thousands of dollars on fees, but it's like, yeah, but I'm giving myself stress every single day to try to get 150, sometimes 300 orders out the door. I don't want to deal with that. I want the flexibility, and that gives 3-day handling gives me flexibility. Now this storage unit gives me flexibility on from a different standpoint. Dave says, I'm having problems to get auctions uploaded on Car Dealer Pro. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. I have no idea. I'd have to see what you were doing. I don't know. Couldn't help you on that. Zach says, I keep all my Bitcoin in storage units with my NFTs. It's been useful, and I feel like it doesn't make my home that I own as big as a target for thieves. There you go. Cooter says, troubles me to say I agree with Max's comment above. There you go. Kumbaya. Cubs cards can sell again because there isn't a guy in Wisconsin hoarding them all. John says you should use the unit to store bulk Purell and masks. January is coming. How soon until Hobby Evolution is filmed live from the storage unit? I can't say that we'll ever do a live from the storage unit. Maybe if I do like a garage sale in the spring, it's like, let's do a live on location, but probably not. You sound like a card show dealer's nightmare. Just commit. Card show promoter, I mean. I don't know what that's in reference to. Card show promoter nightmare. Oh, about me setting up a table. I know. But I am the promoter, so I don't have to commit. It gives me the flexibility. Like, I might do the show, I might not. It's my show. I can make the decision, and I can kick myself out. Oh, I need that table for somebody else. The last Hobby Evolution inventory move remains the benchmark episode. It does. I don't think we'll ever top that. Royals417 says, I have bulk sanitizer and masks. I'll sell you, John. I hear it could be useful again. Merle says the Bears should tank to draft a new quarterback. That would be dumb. John says you were told as recently as last week that 6 was the max for wins. No, I heard 5. Brian said 5. I'm still saying somewhere between 5 and 10. Brian might be closer with 5 win prediction than my 10. I'm coming off the ledge on the 10 wins. I don't think that's going to happen. Bears are 4-4 right now with how many games remaining? 8, 9 games. Is that right? 9 games remaining. So I don't think, can they win 6? They'd have to go 6-3, right? Yeah, they'd have to go 6-3 to win 10 games. I don't see that happening. But they'd have to go like 1-8 to win 5 games. And I don't see that happening either. Cooter says, this morning I watched a 6-year-old video of you explaining how to use a sorting tray. Glad you updated your style of glasses. Oh, wow. Did I? And I've had these glasses for a long. I wear glasses for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years at a time. Brian says, Bears lose today. I hate to say it. I hope not. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bears lost. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bears won. If the Bears lose today, I think we're looking at a 6 to 7 win season. If the Bears win today, I think the margin is small. I think if the Bears lose, we're looking at, I'll commit to a number, 6 wins. If the Bears lose today, it's 6. If the Bears win today, it's 8, maybe 7 or 8. See, I'm not committing on that one, I guess. But I think the Bears winning, I think it's between 6 and 8 games. I think realistically it's between 6 and 8. I think 5's an outlier. I think 10's an outlier. But I think it's going to be on the closer edge to 5 than it is to 10. Nick says, out here toting the virtues of collects only a few weeks ago. Hey, I still, from a seller standpoint, it's awesome. And it's still young. It's still going to grow. But I'm focusing on eBay. I think if I put more focus, it's kind of like where you reap the benefits, you reap what you sow. And I haven't been sowing on collects lately. And I've been reaping no benefits. Well, I've made a few sales in the last week or two. But you know, if you start loading a bunch of cards, yeah, you might sell a few. If you don't list anything, you can't sell anything, right? So, but my eBay sales have been crazy. But I've been putting all my attention and focus on eBay lately. And that's where the benefits and that's where the sales. And again, that's my bread and butter. eBay is where I make my living. So Collects is not. Collects is just going to be basically, and I've said this from the very start, Collects is a sales platform that I wanted to list junk that I don't want to waste listings on eBay for. And I'm not going to, my strategy, I am not opening a second eBay store. And at this point, I think I can scale up and make more money on eBay, staying put with my current store subscription and just utilizing auctions, even if I have to pay insertion fees, and just make sure I list liquid items that are going to sell, get a bid, get that 15-cent insertion fee back, and run sales. I sold over 1,300 cards running my last 50% off sale. That frees up 1,300 listings for the next month, and just rinse and repeat. And so that's where I've been putting my energy, because that is, that's basically, eBay is my full-time job. Other platforms are my side hustle. And that's kind of how I see it. Kind of like when I was selling cards randomly on Sport Lots. Sport Lots was just a side hustle, and it was fun money, make a couple $100 a month. And it was go out and buy some cards with that money. And that's kind of where I was thinking about collects. Ships passing in the night. Bo gets a storage unit. Shane gets rid of his. Oh, weren't you? Yes, I was. And I still am. I haven't been putting focus. I haven't been putting my focus. When I started loading onto collects, I was putting a lot of focus on there. And now I'm not. And, the money is coming in where I put my focus. Put my focus on eBay, sales are way up. Stop putting my focus on collects, sales are down. Pretty easy. Cooter says, don't worry about hoarding sanitizer come January. I would recommend canned goods given the shit show on its way. The second best purchase I have made in my business has been my storage unit. First is a label printer. I like it. Low Roller wants me to check my crypto portfolio. I will. Let's see how up my crypto portfolio is. Where's my damn crypto portfolio? I can never find it. Maybe the app. I think I have. It's Coinbase. I think I have the app on my phone, but it's just not on like my screen. Can that happen? I'm just going to go to the App Store because I've done this before. It's like, where in the hell is Coinbase? I go to the App Store, Coinbase. Here it is. Open. All right. Low Roller wants me to look at my crypto portfolio. Here we go. And I don't. Oh, wow. It is up quite a bit. Wow. My crypto is up. Let's see. Let's do the math here. Holy shit. In the last 24 hours, 15%. But that's still in one day. That's a pretty damn good return in one day. Orlando says LRS is the man. Bitcoin, it's a rocket ship. Don't recall LRS mentioning when to sell prior to the big dips. He just told us to buy. He was right. If you would have invested and held when Low Roller Scratcher told us to buy, and you just kept it, you could sell it for nice profits today. Rocket emojis trigger timeouts. When did America forget how proposed tariffs work? When it's convenient for you. I am not planning on selling on ComC. I am not doing ComC. If there's any other platforms, Christian says, good morning, logging in and filing away my ComC delivery. If there's other platforms that I do, so Collects, I'll stay on Collects with, basically I have, it's kind of like Card Show. I have my Card Show inventory. This stuff I take to card shows. It's not available online anywhere. My eBay store inventory is not available at card shows or on Collects. My Collects inventory isn't available anywhere but Collects. And that's just because there's no way to keep all of that separate. Especially when you're dealing with card shows. Like if I had how much of a nightmare would that be? Oh, I've got to check off every card to make, and then take it down, and terrible. So if I did another platform, like I mentioned earlier in the show, Whatnot would probably be the next platform that I would utilize. Not anytime soon, but certainly a live selling platform would probably be next. Whether it be Whatnot, eBay Live, Whatnot would be at the top of the list. East Coast Tom says to Zach, are y'all coming to Madison anytime soon? Putting a few Shy Sox items aside. There you go. Saturday, November 30th, Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. What's up, Bink Scott in the house? John says, that's a great idea. A storage unit solely occupied by card dealers. Roll up the doors, an instant card show. There's at least one listener here out of work. Show some compassion. Let him put your shelves together. The cards are temporary and the shelves permanent. Don't treat your infrastructure as if it were inventory. But I'm going to. I am not going to heed your advice. Merle says, the stronger shelves don't cost that much more. Junk cards seem to weigh more. It's about $40 for a cheap plastic shelf, and it's I'm going to go to Menards and price them out. But last I paid for my heavy duty shelves, it was around $150, and I think those have even gone up. So it's significant increase, and I like the plastic shelving units. Max pays $100 for a 10 by 20. Okay, so that's right in range. So I'm paying $124 for a 10 by 25. So very similar. Max says, screw shelves, go pick up a pallet or two and start stacking. No cost at all. That's actually, that's with what I'm doing, that's probably the better way to do it. I'm a little concerned that the people that bought crypto early are now millionaires. Are we ready for these people to have disposable income? Why not just fit the Ford Edge out with the shelves and start a mobile bulk card delivery service? If I would, I could. That's why I want to get an RV. or a box truck. Be careful. In some cases, starts with a storage unit and it ends up with an extra house. That does happen. Red lights in the house. What's going on? Good morning. You talk up bulk commons like they're the next Bitcoin. I do? I'm selling bulk commons at like 1/10 of a penny. And maybe somebody, well, I guess, because you can turn around and sell them for a penny or a nickel, maybe even a dime. Hell, you could get a quarter for some of these cards because they're not just shitty commons. Some of them are decent. Don't live in fear of algorithms. This is what John Connor warned us about. After the Commanders game, I quoted 6 wins. You were still pushing 10. I was until last week. When the Bears lost last week, I came off my 10-win prediction. I don't even know who they played last week. But after last week's game, that's when it's like, okay, that should have been a win. 10 is not in sight. And they do. They have a very tough schedule. Today's game is their last, like, what I would consider winnable game. I still think they're going to do well against the NFC North. I think they can split with Green Bay. I think they can split with Minnesota. Detroit looks really tough. Christian says, realistically, the Lions are not losing until next season. The Lions are the ones I'm worried about the most. Nate Kelly's in the house. Good morning. Heading to Wisconsin for my nicotine habit. Zyn at half the price. Also found a lot of select football at Fleet Farm. Love the lower taxes. Welcome to Wisconsin. The home of Zyn at half price and lower taxes. Get your gas while you're here because gas is also a lot cheaper than I assume you're in Illinois. Gas is like 40 or 50 cents more a gallon in Illinois. Are you going back to Sports Lot in the future? No. Collects is my Sport Lots. That's where I put my Sport Lots type of inventory. Good morning, Stuke. I have a friend that one storage unit led to another and another and another. That could happen. Never say never. Then your friend has a problem, Stuke. I feel like 125 is cheap for that size in Madison. Yeah, I only priced out 2 different units because I wanted them close to home. And the one that's probably just like a mile closer was, I think it was like 170 a month. And mine was 125. So, and I thought with the location and like that was right in my wheelhouse of what I wanted to do. That's the way I do it with my bulk. Don't buy shelves when the shelves are worth more than the inventory being put on them. Even at 40 per shelf, it's not worth. That's a really good way to put it. Like, because, one of the, I met, what would I get, maybe the shelving unit in a whole, I'll get more for the cards that are on the shelving unit. So it's not like the whole shelving unit would be, the cards are worth less than $40, but yeah, it's not like it's valuable inventory, not by any means. Donald says, Bo will have a cargo van and deliver bulk sales in person. Oh, Nate's in Minnesota. I'm surprised that Wisconsin's so much cheaper in those things than Minnesota. Now, Illinois, I would expect it, but not Minnesota. Where are we at? Uncle Rich says gas was $2.34 this morning in DFW. Holy shit, we're getting close to those gas prices I was promised. It's still like $2.60 here, maybe $2.75, but it's under $3. $2.30. I noticed that gas prices in Texas and Oklahoma. I'm like, holy shit, your gas prices are cheap. Let's talk about the Rockford Card Show. We're an hour in. Let's talk about the Rockford Card Show. I kind of weaved in and out of what the Rockford Card Show was about. Traffic was crazy. You can see the thumbnail. It was super packed. I didn't have a slow. It was weird from my bargain box, and I was right inside the door. It's one of those spots where if I didn't have bargain boxes, it would have been a shitty spot. Like some dealers say, oh, I had a shitty spot. It would have been like not ideal, but I don't care. Like people come find me. They're like, where's the bargain boxes? You can see bargain boxes. I'm right at the door. There's fucking windows right everywhere. So I don't know why people would complain, but it was a little slow to start, but then by like an hour into the show, it was like, I'm like looking and every space in front of my table was full. I had 10 to 12 people at my tables most of the morning. A lot of like smaller transactions, but some mid-sized transactions as well. No like big transactions until the afternoon. And so it's getting to lunchtime and I'm like running these numbers and I'm like, man, I've only done, I think it was like 18 or 19 transactions. Like I had a $1 transaction, a $3, a $5, an $8, a one, a three, a one, a two. And then that was, so this is like in the morning hours, but then I had a 50, a 40, a couple 20s and a 30. So all of a sudden it's like, oh man. But then in the afternoon, I had somebody come up and I had 70s basketball. It's very ironic because this is the third card show that I've taken the 70s, and this is still estate sale stuff from this summer, from in June. And so I took and I top loaded a bunch of 70s basketball that I hadn't loaded onto eBay and football. And the 70s basketball just sat. The first show, I didn't sell a single card. I don't think I sold a single card out of the 70s box. Second show in Janesville last month, I had somebody buy like 50 cards or maybe 75. I think it was 75 cards and I sold them to him for like $50 or something. And so I had all these, and by yesterday afternoon, not a single card I don't think had been sold out of that box. In fact, somebody earlier in the morning, a viewer of Hobby Evolution, had mentioned the 70s basketball. And I said, yeah, I go, this is the third show. I don't think anybody's bought any today. Nobody bought any the first show, but the second show I had a guy buy like $50 worth. And nobody bought any. And then in the afternoon, I had a guy walk up and he's like, how many cards are in this box? And I said, God, I don't know. I'm like, I can count them for you. And he's like, well, I guess the question is, how much would you sell the whole box for? I'm like, well, the guy sitting next, there's another guy digging through. He's like, oh, that's probably 1,000 cards. And I'm like, oh, I don't think there's 1,000 cards. I don't think so. So I counted. He's like, all right, well, he's like, I got to run to the bathroom, count them. And then, I'll be interested. Depending on the price, I'll be interested. I'm like, okay. So I counted up 301 cards. I'm like, perfect. This is an easy number. I'll do 50 cents a card. $150. And so he comes back and I said, there's 301 cards. I'll do 50 cents a card, $150. And he goes, I'll do it. So that was an easy boom, $150, another 150 from the estate sale, and got rid of more basketball. And then that was in the afternoon. I did another $20 sale, two $20 sales, a $40 sale. And then as I'm packing up, one of the other dealers had started a small stack and I'm like, hey, I'm packing up. So he bought like $15 worth of cards at the end. All of a sudden, I'm like looking up and I'm like, holy shit, I did really well. Like this is one of my better shows. After, and I put together, because I track every transaction, 29, which is probably average, I would say. Sometimes I do more transactions, but when I do 40 or 50 transactions, there's a lot more lower dollar and less higher dollar transactions. So very happy with the turnout, and I'm looking forward to what I can do in Chicago in a couple of weeks at the Spectacular. What did I buy? So I went to the 5-star table, and he didn't really have anything that I was looking for in the dollar boxes or in the $5 boxes. So I didn't buy anything from 5-star. I went in, Steve, who I bought a bunch of stuff from last month in Janesville. It was pretty picked over. So I saw some things. It's like, I've got a glut of what I would have picked out of there. So it's like, I don't need any more of this. And then across from him had a bunch of Jordans in a dollar box, but they were like the rare air. And it's like, I don't want to buy a bunch of these for $1 because those are like kind of fillers for the lots I do. It's like, I don't know. Like I don't have enough Jordans to put a 50 card lot together, but I could put a smaller lot. It's like, I think I'll just wait. I'll just wait on that. But then Nelson, I circled back to Nelson, and he sets up at the Madison show every month. I bought quite a bit of cards from him at the last Madison show. So I picked up basically what you see in my auctions that went live last night. Some of the stuff I didn't buy maybe 25 cards from Nelson, a few for my PC. There's like a Cooper Cup rookie. What the hell else was there? Patrick Willis rookie. Couple Otanis, some Cubs. So I paid 50 to 75 cents a card because most of the cards I pulled out of the 50-cent box, and then a few of the cards were in the dollar box. So and that's all I bought. That's all I bought. Well, and then the Moises Ballesteros card for $20 autograph from Wild Card. And that's all I bought. I had somebody who I bought bulk from before. And I bought, he comes out to the shows and I'll buy some, he'll bring Cubs to me, and I've bought from him a few times. So I ran into him as he was in line to a buyer's table. So one of the dealers just sets up a big sign buying, and he's got in his showcase is $100 bills. So he's just buying. So he's in line, and it's always a backed up line at this table. And so I start talking to him, and I'm like, what are you selling? He's like, oh, I've just got this box of random stuff. He's like, I'm just trying to move the whole box. Maybe, put some of it towards a vacation coming up. I'm like, well, what do you got? I'll take a look. A little sniping action. And he was back in line. So it's not like he was talking to another dealer. So we go back to my table, and I'm going through. He gave me a number, 1,500, and I'm like, and he's like, it's $3 to $4 a card. So I'm going through, and then I find a stack of like Mac Jones rookies, and I'm like, oh man. But there's like a Derrick Rose rookie auto, and there's some other stuff that's, decent $20, $30 cards here and there, but there's stuff that is going to go in my quarter box. And there's some other stuff that I ended up comping later. It's like, okay, this is a $5 card. This is a $5 card. If I risk it at 99-cent auction, it might sell for $1, $2. So I'm going through it, and I'm like, I can't get anywhere near 1,500. And I'm actually even struggling to get to 1,000 on this. And so I told him, I'm like, go back to Brady's table and see what he says. If he says no, and I figured he would say no because he doesn't buy that sort of thing, come back and we can talk a little more. So he wasn't even interested in looking. So, which I wasn't surprised with. He brought it back, and I'm thumbing through it again, and I'm like, even at 1,000, I can't make it work, because there was a stack of like Cam Whitmore's that he was going to keep. There's Trey Lance and Mac Jones that like has no value. I'm like, I just can't, at $3 to $3.50 a card, or $4. Now it's probably closer to $4 a card. Like I can't make this work. And I know like the Derrick Rose, $100 to $150, but Mac Jones and Trey Lance, and then the other cards you're pulling out, like that's it's not going to work. $150 on Derrick Rose, but then I've got to, just to break even, sell $850 out of some of these others that are $5, $10, $20. And he's like, well, I got more stuff at home. I didn't bring it. I can send you some pictures. Maybe you can come down, take a look. I'm like, yeah. So he sent me some pictures, and I think we should be able to come to an agreement. I'm going to do more comping on some of the stuff that was in the box that I looked at yesterday. But then there's like Otanis and LeBrons and Mahomes. But then there's other stuff that I got to take into account that this is going to be tough to move at all, whether it's in a dime box, quarter box, or whatever. So that went somewhere, and maybe we'll get a deal done. Let's go to the chat. I got to wrap it up so I can do some shipping. Where we at? Stuke says Musk recently announced a $15,000 RV. Not sure how big it is for storage on the road. Hey, an RV is an RV. I'll take it. Elon, hit me up. Max says you pump it right out of the ground there. That's true. That's true. The oil in Oklahoma and Texas, you can see the oil fields. That is because the refineries are in the Gulf of Mexico and thus inexpensive transport to DFW. Bargain Boxer went to Crawfordsville yesterday instead of Rockford. One dealer was there and he wasn't selling cards. Sorta. He had all of his cards there, but none were for sale. He was selling raffle tickets for his entire collection. Is that legal? It doesn't sound legal, but raffles and lotteries laws vary from state to state. I'm not sure what the laws are in Indiana. But I would assume that is not legal. But I am no attorney. Zach says, sorry, left cans, came back. Nothing planned as of now, but hopefully sooner than later. Cooter says, it's like our domestic production has been up during the last 4 years. Imagine how low they could have been without the 4-year deal made with OPEC in early 2020. Tom says, no worries. Odd Merchants is here. eBay sucks, he says. I love eBay. My sales have been shit lately. My sales have been awesome, and that's probably why I love eBay right now. For no reason other than AI has cherry-picked certain sellers. You know what? Kind of what John said earlier. Don't hate the algorithm. Don't hate the algorithm. If you list good stuff that people are buying at good prices, they will find you. It's kind of like, I compare it to travel ball parents. Travel ball parents, and they want to transfer to the big shiny school across town because, well, they're going to get more recruiting advantage at that school. We've got the fucking internet. If your kid is good at sports, like college athlete good, colleges will find him. Yeah, a few slip through the cracks. But it's also on your coaches, your parenting, the kid to market themselves. And if you market yourself, you'll get found. Travel ball parents don't give a shit about their kids, says Max. But eBay doesn't suck. It's eBay is what you make of it. You know, I was talking about collects and how I haven't been doing any sales on collects. Well, guess what? I haven't been listing anything. And what I do list on collects is not really good inventory. It is what you make it. I had a bunch of sales. I had early success on collects because I loaded 3,000 cards really quickly. You get a trickle down. Same with eBay. If you list good stuff at good prices, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. You will be found. You will be found. The algorithm does suck sometimes. eBay sucked for me yesterday. My sales were absolutely atrocious yesterday. Hopefully it's just a one-day outlier and we'll bounce back today. But all in all, my sales have been crazy good since I started doing auctions, really, because now I've got more and more sales coming in. And that's why it's so important on the buy side. If you know what you're paying for cards, you know, it's been really easy for me on the stuff that especially the stuff that I bought at Kirby's in Oklahoma City. Odd Merchants, drop your, tell me what, I don't think you can drop a link, but just what's your eBay store name? And we can do a live look into your eBay store, see what you have and what your prices are. And we can probably find the problems with why your sales have been stinky. But it's so important on the buy side to know what you have into a card and what you can sell it for, because you can sell for under comps. If you buy a $10 card for 50 cents, you can sell it for $7 and you still have wiggle room. Don't get greedy and it sold for $10. I want $10. I'm not taking any less. And then it might sit, and then it might not be worth $10 anymore. It might be worth $7 in a month. And it's like, well, shit, I should have taken that $7 offer. And then you wait. I mentioned this last week on one of the shows. And then you wait. Well, maybe I can get a $7 offer. And then you get a $5 offer. It's like, no, I want $7. I had a $7 offer. And you're always a step behind. And then all of a sudden it drops further. It's like, now I'm willing to take $5 because I had a $5 offer. And a $4 offer comes along. Nope, I want $5. I'm holding out for $5. And it's just this terrible cycle that can happen. Not saying it does happen or anybody specifically in here, but I've had it happen to me personally. And I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have had that mindset at one point in time where we've fallen prey to, I want to squeeze the most out of it. And I feel when my mind is right, when my mindset is, I'm just going to sell to sell, good things happen and more sales occur. And you feed the beast. But I'm curious. I'm curious at Odd Merchant's eBay store. Just drop in the chat what your eBay store is so we can take a look and we might be able to identify what the issues are. $6.54 in sales on Friday with 14,000 listings. That tells me that your listings may not be liquid items or they could be high priced. It's probably one or the other. If you're only making $6 on 14,000 listings, it's not eBay's fault. That's a seller's fault. So if you want to share, we can probably identify what's going on. Andy says West Aurora got beat by perennial powerhouse Maine South. Their smallest offensive lineman was 6'3", 275 pounds. That's a big dude in high school. It's a big high school dude. Merle says, if you list it, they will buy. Not all the time. Not all the time. You do have to list good stuff. If you list a bunch of 91 Fleer Commons, you can have 100,000 listings and you'll be lucky to make $6 in a day. But if you list 2024 Allen and Ginter at good prices, it's been about a week and a half. I may lower my prices to 99 cents. Let's do it. How do you make sales? Here's a good way to make sales. We're going to go to my eBay store. We're going to go into my listings. And this is a good way to spur sales. 2024 Allen and Ginter has gotten a little stale. Okay, we've got Odd Merchants Vintage. Okay, let's take a look at your store and let's we might be critical. We might be critical. Odd Merchants Vintage. eBay. Odd Merchants, here it is. Okay. And it's your, so we know it's you. All right, let's share the screen. And then I'm going to drop prices on Allen and Ginter. All right, so I've got a couple suggestions right off the bat. And it doesn't even have to do with listings. Where's my screen at? Okay, up here, you've got featured categories. You've only got 2 featured categories. I would either expand that because you've got some white space that's not appealing, not eye appealing. So I would add more featured categories or change this up to featured listings. I think I have featured categories, but I also have featured listings. Featured listings or featured categories and make sure to utilize all of this space. Down here, this is not eye appealing either. So I would, you could Google image search baseball cards. It doesn't have to be your own cards, your own listings. Just find an image that's right side up, and that's more eye appealing because this is sideways and it's not eye appealing. So these are just small things. Is this necessarily going to lead to a lot more sales? No, but it's going to make it a more professional look. I like this 45% off 10 plus items under $10. That's great. You're advertising volume discounts. And that's definitely a worthy 45% is a really good discount. So I like what you did there. So we're not just going to pick you apart. I can see you've got the $1.69 on this Pete Rose leaf. That's a good price. Some of this stuff, I don't know what comps are on some of this stuff. I think this Drew Jones is probably over. I don't think this is an $8 card anymore. I don't want to go through every listing and nitpick the price on everything, but this Freddie Freeman pink refractor, I think that's $212. That's a good price for a a pink refractor. So it doesn't look like your prices are, terribly out of line. And you've got, at least on this page, you've got good stuff. 79 Topps Tony Dorsett. You've got a nice mix of cards. So you're doing a lot of good things right. You've even got Pokemon. I don't know shit about Pokemon. This is a really good price. $637. Like, my Jeters sell for higher than that. So that's a good price. So it looks like your pricing is good. but we've just taken a look at like the first, this is best match. Let's just go to lowest price and let's just see, because you've got like 14,000 listings. Similar inventory than what I have. I don't see a lot of like just garbage. I don't see any garbage really. I mean, I've got a lot of garbage in my store. So yeah, I would just, do you have offers open? You don't have offers open. I would do, so here's some things. What we talked about on the homepage, just to make it look a little more professional and maybe advertise your better listings. I do a features listings on your homepage, on your store homepage. I'd add 2 more categories to your homepage just to eliminate that white space. I'd choose a different image back over here on your homepage on the 45% deal down here. So I do that. I would do a bulk edit and accept offers on everything. You've got the volume discount there. I would send newsletters out to your past clients. How many? You have 583 followers. That's decent. And you've got the volume. So you definitely have a good start. And I don't honestly, your store is a lot better than I was expecting. But I think sometimes I also have to take a step back and realize that I have 4,500 followers on eBay. I have an audience on social media. So that definitely impacts my sales. So you're on the right track. You've got good stuff. You've got good prices. You've got a good volume discount. I would just open yourself up to offers and communicate with your buyers. I don't know if you have a social media presence, but drop it down. I'm not saying like tweet every freaking listing you have and just fill your timeline with links, because that will backfire. But once, twice, 3, 4 times a day, as long as it's mixed in with other content, drop your link. When you add something new, you can send out a newsletter. Say, hey, I just added 2024 Allen and Ginter. So those are some things that I would do. But your store looks pretty good. I mean, there's not like I was expecting far worse. In that you have good inventory and you have good prices. So I think eBay does suck, and I don't know how long your sales have been kind of stagnant. But yesterday my sales were atrocious. Basically my sales day yesterday was akin to your $6.54 on Friday. And Max brings up a great point. Look at this. I got to bring this up again. And this is something that I didn't even look at, but yes, you've got 100% positive feedback on 15,000 items sold. I agree 100% with Max. You know what to do. Just keep doing it. And there's going to be waves. There's going to be downfalls. There's going to be bad days. Yesterday for me was a bad day. eBay sucked yesterday for me. eBay sucked for you on Friday. And hopefully that's not like consistent. And hopefully we can build that up and it's not going to be like that every day. But yeah, your store looks good. Just a couple things that I would change and just ride the wave, because sometimes we're going to have those shitty sales days. And then sometimes we're going to have, like what I talked about at the very beginning, take a look. And sometimes it's helpful when you have an audience to take a look and see, well, what could I do better? But then also remember, when you do have a great day, if you do $300 in sales when you're typically doing 100 or 50, and you have a $300 sale, take a look at why. When you have a $6 sales day, why was it bad? When you have a $600 sales day, why was it good? It's just as important to know why things were up as it is why things are down. And we can't always blame the algorithm and eBay. Sometimes eBay is at fault though. Like sometimes they just fuck around on the back end, and it does do some wonky things to the algorithm and to our business. Where we at? Donald has a good question. Have you made your money back on the Allen and Ginter chase? On the case, I don't think so. I haven't ran my numbers. But I've got some auctions. I think I'll run my numbers after maybe Wednesday, because I've got some auctions, Tuesday night auctions. We'll go live on Tuesday night and count those down. I want to wait till those sales come in. Right now, let's do this. So this is another thing that I do just to kind of put a little steroid boost into my sales. I've got obviously a lot of 2024 Allen and Ginter still for sale. Let's share my screen. Let's share this tab and pop it on the screen. Let's just go full screen mode. So here's my listings. We're going to do 2024 Ginter. And let's see what we bring up. I don't know why eBay is so slow on this machine. It's not as slow on anywhere else. I don't know why. Maybe it's what I'm usually not doing this part. Okay, here we go. All right. So we don't want to do relics. I want to basically find my $2 cards and under, and we're going to drop. Okay, so these are all the foils. In fact, I'll probably drop the prices on those as well. We've got foil filigrees. Okay, we're just going to go to page 2. I'm looking for base cards, and I'm going to drop the price to 99 cents. So, hey, if you're looking for Allen and Ginter from this year, we're dropping the prices 99 cents. Plus, if you buy 7 or more at regular price, you'll save 25% off at checkout. So how far down is this going to go? Okay, let's just go to page 3 because now we're into the inserts. Okay, so I think we can just do a bulk. Here we are. Gee, oh wait, no, this is still loading. Okay. 99centcards.com is the eBay link. All right, we're just going to do boom to all 200 selected. Yep, these are all going to be base cards. We're going to do a bulk edit over here. Edit all. Oh, no, we want to edit selected. And we're going to click on these. And all we're going to do is change the buy it now price to 99 cents. And I think we can do that with another page. So we're going to submit all 200. All right, so we're done with that. Let's go to the last page, if eBay loads. Come on, you can do it. All right, so let's go to the last page. Page 4. And Jesus, I think there's only like 30 listings on this page. Oh, shit, some of these are auctions. Okay, we're just going to ignore this page. All right, and eBay's fucking slow. All right, so some of the Allen and Ginter base cards now in my store, 99 cents, free shipping. And if you buy 7 or more, you'll save even more, 25% off at checkout on the Buy It Now listings. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and go check out the new low prices on 2024 Allen and Ginter, just 99 cents on some of those base singles. We will do this again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. on Hobby Evolution. Oh, I'm going to tell you about a collection that I'm appraising, and I can actually do some show and tell tomorrow. So I've got those, and I can show those off tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central, Hobby Evolution. Have a great Sunday. Go Bears!